Hey, it's your host Brittany, and welcome to the Mom Sweat Sanity podcast, where we talk all things life, health, fitness, kids, relationships, you name it, nothing is off the table. A little bit of just me and a whole lot of knowledgeable guests. So throw on your Lulus to run or to mom, grab yourself a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and join us as we unpack life's pressing topics and learn a little bit more of the who, what, whys of it all. Or at the very least, get real, share some wisdom, and grab practical tips to help in our daily lives. Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in today. Today I am here with Dr. Allana Polo of Polo Health, and we were speaking about all things hormones, weight loss, and Dr. Polo's pound a day program. So tune in. It was a great conversation.
I feel like the topics are limitless, really.
It's true. Yeah, we could talk for hours and hours because it just morphs into other things. So
Totally. Yeah. So thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for reaching out.
I'd love to get to know you, learn about your practice and how you became into the world that you are of naturopathic and owning your own clinic and everything.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so much. So, Okay. So a bit about me. I graduated in 2010. So I've been practicing for 11 years. I practiced basically from 2010 till 2014, and then I decided to open my own clinic. So Polo Health Longevity Centre is in New Westminster. It's a 4,000 square foot center with many varying practitioners. There's 6 naturopathic doctors. We have an amazing team of health practitioners. Like there's 6 NDs. We have a registered acupuncturist. We now have a registered massage therapist. We have clinical counselors and 2 medical doctors who do private medicine and medical aesthetics. We have a full IV suite and a compounding pharmacy up at the front. So really, truly, it's a huge operation. It's the epitome of an integrated, multidisciplinary, patient-centered clinic. Like we're all about prevention. It's private healthcare, so we just really feel like we provide next level primary care to a lot of people who so desperately need it. Yeah, it's been, 6 years. We've evolved over the years, and it's been an amazing dream, of mine. And I love what I do. Really, I truly do.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations. I need to come and visit that place. That sounds amazing. And it has everything that you could imagine, it sounds like.
Yeah, it is. It's great. And we really make a difference in people's lives. So that's, I think, the most rewarding. Like we really are able to help people who have nowhere else to turn. They've gone through the medical system. They've explored functional medicine or alternative healthcare, and they've really just found a place that they can come where they're heard and they feel empowered and they actually see the changes in their health. So that's great.
I've noticed just in speaking with different people, just the constant theme is really being your own health advocate because of the state of our medical system. And I love that you are full service, that you offer the doctor to the naturopathic to the everything that you offer out of your door is all encompassing. And I can only imagine that at a place like yours, people don't leave with that need and desire to still reach exterior. Really being your own advocate within your doors, you're able to offer so much.
You need to take care of your health. You need to listen to your body. You need to ask the questions. You need to push. You need to advocate. If you're not getting the answers you need and you're being told everything is normal and everything is fine, yet you don't feel normal or fine, you need to advocate and find the professionals to work alongside you and, don't stop until you get those answers. Everybody should have copies of their lab tests, their own test results. They should be able to see their results because oftentimes, again, physicians will say things are normal or they're borderline. You've heard me say this all the time. Just because you're normal doesn't mean you're optimal. And just because things are low doesn't mean that your physician is going to tell you they're low. So if you are able to take control of your health and look at all of your results and take them to someone who can help you interpret them, then you'll be able to get better care, right, when you're in control of it.
There's no one size fits all. Everyone is their own cookie cutter. Or there's no cookie cutter, I should say. So absolutely, that makes sense. And having those results in your hand, so often we don't think to ask and to see. We just rely on what we're being told. But when you're actually able to see that scale, I mean, how powerful.
Yeah, and I get that it's like a different language for a lot of people. Not everyone knows how to interpret lab results, and that's fine. But when you're seeing flags or you're seeing things that are abnormal, don't go to Google, because that's the worst for our anxiety. I had a patient the other day tell me she got her results on eHealth and she Googled everything and she was freaking out. And so that's not the answer. But seeing that things are flagged, or just looking for other opinions when you've put all your trust in a physician and they've said everything is fine, yet you don't feel fine. That's probably the number one reason people come to see us, is they've potentially exhausted all other avenues. They've seen other doctors. They want more answers. They want access to private testing that just unfortunately MSP doesn't offer. They come to seek us out because we do have access to private testing. You pay for it. So yes, it is more expensive, but if you have benefits, you have extended health, you have the option to use some coverage, then we're able to explore these private functional tests, which can be very insightful.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I have you here today we could talk about all the things as we were saying, but I won't keep you all day. So I thought we could dive into exploring what your A Pound a Day program is, I guess how you came across this and when you started offering it in your clinic.
Yeah, that's a good question. So a primary focus of my practice has always been weight loss. I love weight loss because it truly makes a difference in people's lives. We are able to reverse high blood pressure, hypertension, cardiovascular risk, high cholesterol, metabolic risks, diabetes. There's so much that can be improved with weight loss. I can take people off their medications. They're healthier overall. And it really stemmed from a personal journey with my parents. They were overweight their entire lives, obese actually, and I watched them on diets and off diets. And as a child, I really remember how scared I was for their own health, or how anxious I was about, what my life looked like with parents like that. And so from a young age, I think I've always been drawn to it, drawn to nutrition, drawn to health and wellness and fitness and exercise and how that all correlates. So it's naturally evolved into basically having a weight loss center here within my practice. And I do offer something called a Pound a Day program. But for some people, that isn't the answer, and they want to work on weight loss through balancing hormones and looking at their metabolic markers and dealing with, insulin and the sex hormones and the stress hormones and their thyroid. So I offer two different approaches to weight loss. The Pound a Day program is only intended to be a kickstart. It is a very short-term kickstart for people who really need instant gratification. Mm-hmm. There are many programs out there where people are losing 1 to 2 pounds a week. It's slow. It requires a lot of work and effort and energy and focus. And for them to only lose a pound a week, it's very discouraging. And, long-term, people don't necessarily stick with it. So the Pound a Day program is very short-term. It's 23 or 40 days where, women can lose up to half a pound a day. Men can lose up to a pound a day. It's monitored. It's medically supervised. I'm following these patients. They're in to see me every week. It is calorie restricted, and they are taking a hormone. The hormone helps to suppress their appetite. They do get into a state of ketosis. So, they're burning fat for fuel. They feel great. We're doing vitamin B12 injections, and people thrive. They feel great. They lose an incredible amount of weight, and it serves that purpose of just being a kickstart where then we can change gears into, maintenance, what that looks like, how they can maintain, how I can help support them and educate them to allow them to maintain this long term. And then we do focus on hormones and adrenals and thyroid and food sensitivities and gut health and all the other things that come in the package of weight loss.
Absolutely. And possibly all those other things led them down the path to need that in the first place. And now they're able to start with a clean slate, let's say.
Exactly. Yeah. Rarely do we get people coming in for weight loss who don't have other things going on, right? It's not as simple as just overeating and not being as active, right? There's usually mental, psychological, stress eating or boredom eating or, that psychological piece. And then there's also the physical food sensitivities that have been undiagnosed or gut concerns that have been undiagnosed. So these people aren't absorbing their food, assimilating for nutrients, utilizing for energy, and they're storing these calories as fat, right? Mm-hmm. Or like you talked about, adrenal cortisol imbalances, that causes that midsection weight gain around the belly. So if these women are gaining weight around their bellies, midsection, no matter what they do, they can't lose it. We have to look at their stress hormones.
Mm-hmm.
And then perimenopause and weight gain that goes along with that.
Absolutely. And do you find, like, with the protocol, is it something that you offer to anyone right off the bat, or do you like to get a bigger picture of the hormonal panel and whatever's going on in their life first and see which way you're going to jump into it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I do a little bit of both. It is all individual. So like you said, there's no cookie cutter. Everyone who comes in, we go through their history. There are forms that need to be filled out. There are oftentimes I will send people for blood work beforehand because I want to see their baseline markers. I want to see, are you pre-diabetic? Where is your thyroid? Depending on their symptoms. So if someone's coming in saying, I really want to try this program because I'm putting on weight so rapidly, I can't lose it no matter what I do. I'm tired all the time. I'm cold. My hair's falling out. I'm constipated, I'm bloated and gassy. These are all red flags where it's so much more than just the pound a day program. So maybe that's what they want and need to get started. But then we have that conversation that's not where it's going to end, right?
Yeah.
We have to do the work on the back end.
And I think that you nailed it on the head there by saying also that we want the instant gratification. That's the world that we're living in these days. And we're used to just seeing that right away. And so being able to have that and then work on with and alongside of that and continue on afterwards with all the support that you offer. I mean, that completely makes sense. And it probably allows a space for people to actually want to do it and stick with it and continue on the health journey aside from just the weight loss side of it.
Totally. We need motivation. We need to be motivated instantly, unfortunately, right? Whether it's good or bad, it is, like you say, the society we live in. I call it like an instant gratification nation because it truly is. And people don't want to work for anything. They give up after 2 or 3 weeks of not seeing results. And that's not long enough. But with the pound a day program, it is. And so that is what drives people to keep going. And they do feel better. And, maybe they feel better because they're drinking more water. They're taking a multivitamin. They're taking a B complex. They're getting B12 shots. They're eating clean, real food, right? They're off of sugar. They're off of alcohol. They're off of refined carbs. There's so much that goes into why people feel better. Mm-hmm. And whatever it is, it almost doesn't matter. If they do, they stick with it. They see results. And then we have them a little bit longer to work with them. Whereas if it was a slow process, nature, they'd fall off the wagon and we'd never see them again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So do you find, you said it's based upon or around a calorie restricted feeding also. Do you find that in general, people are coming to you really overeating?
Yeah, overeating or undereating. A lot of people have affected their metabolism by not eating enough, overeating, undereating, consuming too much alcohol, being extremely sedentary, especially now. People are working from home. Even if you were parking your car and taking the stairs up to your office, you were moving, right? Yeah. Now people are sitting at home all day, ordering their groceries. There's a lack of physical fitness. That's
so true.
Yeah, people aren't drinking as much water, like all the little habits that have kept people's weight in check, those are going by the wayside, right? You're in the kitchen all day. You can grab a snack. You're not packing a lunch. You're not leaving the house, right? You're wearing pajamas or sweatpants or stretchy pants. There's
no gauge.
Right, exactly. No gauge. Like for my patients who are at home, I tell them to get dressed every day, put on jeans, put on tight jeans, because you will just be conscious of your waist all day long. Yeah. Do your hair, do your makeup, do whatever you need to do to feel like you are just a functioning human being, because you will be more inclined to make better choices if you feel better about yourself.
Oh, that is so true. So true. And
some people, I'm telling people to pack their lunches like they would if they were going to work. Pack your lunch, put it in a bag, put it in the fridge, and that is your allotment for the day, right?
Yeah. Instead of the boredom and the going back and forth to the kitchen, not knowing what you should grab next.
Yeah, boredom and habit. How many of us sit at the computer and they just, it's just this. We are creatures of just being busy. So having some nuts or having this or having that when you're really not hungry. So, that question becomes, am I hungry? Can I just have water? Can I make some tea? Am I hungry enough to eat an apple? Are you going to cut up an apple and put it beside your desk? Because if you're not hungry enough for that, then you're not hungry.
Yeah, for sure. So do you find that there is kind of more of a demographic that is coming to you? If, let's say, if we're looking at the female side of things, for argument's sake here, if the women, is there an age range that you generally see coming in your door asking for help? Why am I gaining this weight? I need to lose it,
For sure, like 35 to 65. Like it really, it's interesting because it's a demographic where, a lot of women have had babies. They're trying to lose baby weight. Perimenopause starts around that time. It's a 10-year period where hormones are starting to change. So perimenopausal women and postmenopausal women, there's a large amount of women there who are seeing weight gain and want to lose it. And then there's also, that's when thyroid changes start to happen, lower testosterone as we age. This is a really important piece. As we age, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone all start to decline. But testosterone is what's responsible for maintaining our muscle mass. And our muscle mass is what is metabolically active, right? That's what drives our metabolism. So if women aren't working out and they're losing their testosterone, they're essentially slowing down their metabolism. So things start to change, at that point in time too.
That makes sense. I never really thought of it from that side.
Yeah. And estrogen is, a fat storing hormone. So you think about these two hormones. Estrogen's fat storing, so women are more inclined to store fat around our fat pads, the belly, the thighs, the butt, the arms, the bust, and testosterone is our fat burning hormone. So we all want to have more testosterone to keep our metabolism active, and that comes from exercising and building muscle mass. We also talk about cortisol. Most people in that demographic, 35 to 65, are highly stressed. We're being pulled, we're moms, we're being pulled in a million different directions. We're trying to navigate home life, work life. That balance, and cortisol contributes to weight gain. So that demographic has a lot to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. And just being kind to ourselves, possibly a little bit more as we're going through all that, to realize that.
What's that?
Yeah, right. Maybe just taking a few extra breaths every so often would help a little bit.
Yeah, it can be so highly overwhelming, especially now with working from home. There's no boundaries. You're always accessible. You're homeschooling and you're writing work emails. Like it's very, very, very stressful. Very.
Yeah. So I think that all of that is so positive to then be able to work with you continuously, because as you said, if you're entering around 35, you're going to come and you're going to see perimenopause, menopause as we go through everything. And so having the knowledge that this is what is happening to our body and how can I maybe prevent it from requiring, again, to need that pound-a-day program, but how do I actually proactively keep myself or my system, I guess, revving the way that it requires to. As you said, testosterone, all the other hormones that we require also, as they start to deplete. I find it fascinating how little women really do know about this. I think it's being talked about more and more, but I guess from the doctor side, opposed to the functional natural health side, it's way more available.
Totally. Being proactive is so important, but also being prepared. Like I made a post on Instagram last week, I think, about like the stat of females who were not prepared for the changes that take place as they enter perimenopause. And that was really surprising to me, because if you can know what's ahead of you, you can actively prepare for it, right? So it is part and parcel of being proactive. And it's all, these things that maybe we take for granted, like drinking water and exercising and taking your fish oils and taking your vitamin D and things that are like part of what I do. And my mission with women is to educate them on the why. Because if you know why something is good for you or what something will do for you or how it will help you, then you are more inclined to stick with it, right? So being proactive and then understanding how the choices you make now are going to positively or negatively impact you later may change whether or not you make those choices.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. Being able to, know your why. Absolutely. I mean, that's just like a common theme in life, but when you're putting that into your health and rolling it ahead and knowing what you can bypass if you take care of yourself now, absolutely. That is huge.
And you also don't know what's going on under the surface. So I also talk about this a lot, and I post a lot, what does a fatty liver look like? What does a fatty heart look like? What do clogged arteries look like? What does high cholesterol mean? What does high blood pressure mean? Right? When I ask patients, they really don't know. So because you can't see the surface, that come with obesity when we're talking about weight loss, right?
Yeah.
when we can explain that, high blood pressure means your heart is working harder to pump blood through these vessels that are now constricted because there's plaque. So a normal vessel is this big, and then with high cholesterol, it's this big, and your heart has to work harder to pump blood through it. Like when we can make that image for them, I think it connects them back to their health and what's going on under the surface. So that's important too. If you can't see it, a lot of people don't take it seriously.
Yeah, the hidden secret diseases that creep up to us also.
Yep.
So if we're wanting to get started with you and look at this Pound a Day program, how do we do that? And then how do we continue following up? What does the follow-up of that Pound a Day look like with you?
So you can visit our website. polohealth.com is our website. We're also on Facebook. We're on Instagram at Polo Health. And then my personal page is Dr.Allana Polo on Instagram. I want to chat with someone, make sure the program is right for them, vet any questions that people have so we can go through that. And then the follow-ups, the 23 or 40 days, we're together every week for 4 to 6 weeks. And then we're together 2 weeks after that on maintenance. And then after that, I like to check in with people as they need. So depending on what we do, sometimes we change gears into testing. Sometimes I follow up with people a month later just to make sure that maintenance is good. I set them up on my Fitness Pal. I set them up with their macros and tracking and keeping stats and diet diaries because that works really well for people on maintenance. So we'll check up with that a month later. And then, organically, our relationship just evolves depending on what else we work on.
And I'd imagine the motivation of each individual is also different as to what their follow-up looks like. And if they're good at staying on protocol and watching their healthy diet changes as to whether they allow that weight to creep back on or not.
Yeah, I see both, of course. There's some people who finish the program, I never see them again. Others, I don't see them for 2 or 3 years. They've gained all the way back and they come back. And it really depends on the person. I tell everybody, this is not a magic pill. If you go back to the same habits that brought you here in the first place, you will end up back there. And I'm very clear about it. It requires change from within. And if you're not ready to make that change, you'll see the repercussions of that. But if you are ready to make the changes that are required, then this will be long-lasting weight loss, right? I'm a no BS, don't sugarcoat. Yeah.
Healthy lifestyle requires changes, absolutely. And you have to be fully committed if you're going to lean into that.
Yeah, and it's not all or nothing. It's not that you never have the pizza again or the beer and fries again or the beer again, but it's moderation, right? It's learning how to eat Monday to Friday, 80% of the time, so that when you do have that 20% or those weekend indulgences, your body bounces back fast. It doesn't impact you, right? That's the place that we need to get you to, that like food freedom place.
I find too that the more healthy you begin to eat and watch what you eat, you actually crave less of the junk, and you actually, it's your own body's way of telling you don't like that anymore because you end up feeling like crap.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes people need those reminders. They're like, oh yeah, I don't feel good. So why am I eating this? And, naturally, you move away from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And everything, like your hair, your skin, your nails, like you can look at someone's face and they have bags under their eyes. They have really bad acne. They look dehydrated. Their hair is dry. Like you can look at someone and see what a picture of health looks like versus, non-picture of health.
Yeah, for sure. So do you have any final tips or tools that you can offer everyone? And as you said, we know where to find you, and I will add those all to the show notes for everyone looking. And you have to check out Instagram because Dr. Allana Polo has some amazing tips and tricks there as well. I love everything that she posts. Is so knowledge filling, and I love following you. So
thank you. That's so sweet. That's my goal, is really just to educate people. I'm not saying come see me. I'm not selling a service. I'm really just so passionate about educating people about their body and about their health and what you can do to feel better. So like you say, be kind, be gentle with yourself. We're all fighting an uphill battle some days, and we have a lot going on, and we have to make priorities. Like that's, I think the biggest thing is pick 2 or 3 things and do them really well. And don't try to take on so many things because you can't do each one well, and you don't want to fail, right? And feel like you let yourself down. So just pick 1 or 2 things, really do them well, drink more water, drink less coffee, have more greens, slow and steady, and the time is going to pass anyway. So just do what you can in that time to make it the best.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. I really enjoyed and appreciated all the knowledgeable information that Dr. Polo was able to share with us, going deeper than just a number on the scale. There is always a reason for that, and whether it is the age and stage of our life, or whether we are introducing a whole different level of stress that we don't usually have in our systems, really going deeper into the why of why that weight gain happened and why we are wanting to lose it. Our health is more than just a number on the scale. So thank you for tuning in. I hope that you took something from today. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to share it. See you next week. You can find me on Instagram at MomSweatSound.